Public Policy in Education, Module 5. This PowerPoint is designed to highlight certain points in the chapter and serve as a guide to important understandings from the chapter. However, this PowerPoint will not provide every piece of information you need to know in order to successfully complete this course and internalize your learning. The expectation is that you will read the chapters assigned. Use this PowerPoint as a guide to help you as you preview, then read the chapters. Love, John 13:34 through 35. A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. Think about this. We must love out of a decision, not a reaction. Our love should be like Christ's love, unconditional, sacrificial, forgiving, even to our enemies. And our prayer, Lord, help us to follow your command and make the decision to love one another. Defining policy issues. Issue definition is the process by which a problem is transformed into an issue that a government can address. Issue definition happens through spoken and written communication and involves developing an attractive image and symbolic appeals to the public. Problem versus policy issue. A problem is a part of life. We confront problems every day. Buses break down and sometimes the roof leaks. These are problems. However, an issue is more than a problem. Issues are controversial. They imply an interpretation of the problem, a coherent set of values, and an understanding of the proper role of government. Figures 7.1, 7.2, and 7.3 break out problems and issues. Take a look at these. The EPPRC is the Education Policy Planning and Research Community. Different organizations make up this community. Figure 7.4 depicts the EPPRC. In the United States, most issue definition occurs within the EPPRC. One function of the EPPRC is to provide forums where thinkers can discuss and develop new ideas before disseminating them to policymakers. This occurs mostly in think tanks and universities. There are three major types of research: basic, applied, and integrative. Basic research is the most theoretical. An example of basic research is how children learn. Applied research tests theory in real-life settings. In education, real-life settings might be classrooms or high schools or elementary schools. Integrative research looks at the whole body of research on a particular topic in order to determine what the research as a whole says about that topic. In Chapter 5, we discussed ideology. New policy ideas may also derive from ideology. Think about how conservatives and liberals might think differently about defining issues in education. Issue definition elements include claims, evidence, solution, discourse, and broad appeal. These elements are defined in this chapter. There are constraints on issue definition. Think about values and ideologies of the society. What is acceptable in one society might not be in a different society. On the local level, what might be acceptable in one district might not be in another. Constitutionality. Does the issue conflict with the United States Constitution? Cyclical movement of values. What might have been acceptable in 1990 might not be acceptable today. A policy agenda is all those issues under serious discussion in a general policy domain. Can you think of some issues that are under serious discussion now? The systemic policy agenda includes all the education issues that people outside government are discussing. Under that broad category are three subcategories. They include professional agenda, the issues that education professionals are discussing, media agenda, education issues you can find in the mass media, and public agenda, the education issues that you hear the general public talking about. You may find some commonalities among these agendas. However, they are not identical to each other. So how does an issue get on the government policy agenda? Major political leaders push their agenda. There could be a triggering event. Think of Hurricane Harvey or the school shooting in Santa Fe ISD. These caused some issues to get on the policy agenda during the 2019 legislative session. Interest groups can put pressure on lawmakers. Policy networks can work to bring an issue to the forefront. Staged events like protests or demonstrations. Think about educators gathering in Austin on the Capitol steps to demonstrate for higher teacher salaries, can bring attention to an issue. Sometimes a government can fail to act. These are called non-decisions. An issue may simply be ignored or left alone. One example in education policy is school finance. There have been years when the legislature did nothing about school finance, and the school districts went to the courts for help with getting the legislature to act. Education leaders must gain knowledge about issues through reading professional journals and attending meetings. They must also develop friends and allies in the State Department of Education, in professional associations, with government officials, and with their colleagues. Leaders also need to build organizational capacity. Think about it. What do you need to do to build your knowledge of education issues?